Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our 4th Ninja Turtles Week podcast.
Today we're looking at the series I personally grew up with on TV, simply titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This version's become one of the more popular series before the 2012 edition, as it follows the same Ninja Turtle story but adds many new characters and storylines each season. Plus, it balanced its fun and awesome theme with some pretty dark tones for kids.
Yes, at some point, they were doing other things. That was a time where you could get away with a lot of these mature themes in there without crossing a certain line. Now it's like, now you can't have any action. Now you can't have anything. Because of, you know, with the network stuff now, part of the policy, you can't have violence, you can't have this. Well, there goes most of your action cartoons now. That's why everything's like, lame. And unfortunately, Turtles got hit with that too. So for this one, it came on from 2003 to it ran for 7 seasons.
Right, so it'd be 2010.
Right, yeah, because they had some shorts in 2009. So yeah. And it came on 4Kids TV, which is notorious for having lots of anime that they edit down or replace footage from so they can air it here in America for kids, which the channel probably doesn't exist anymore. I doubt it. But I remember this being pretty... it was like I said, it had action. I guess it was supposed to be like a mixture of what the 80s one had, where they had a comedic at first, and then it got dramatic and darker when it got further along the line. So in here, they kind of blended it all together with adding their own story elements.
And they also had a change in some of the turtles, their characteristics and personalities.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like it said there's no slapstick or puns at this time.
Michelangelo was obsessed with being cool.
And Donatello was on his inventions all the time. Leonardo Raphael picked fights all the time. They started to, and then they have magical powers at some point. And it's like, what? Like, okay, now I know where they got that for the reboot. And they started to have them where they were truly driving in the personalities, like they turned it up to 11. It wasn't just, that's how you know the difference between them. It's just like, this is all they are now. It's like with Powerpuff Girls, it started to become their entire traits, and then it's like there's nothing else besides that one trait.
Right. So, tell me, what did you love most about this series, since this was your childhood?
Right. Well, this is what introduced me to the Ninja Turtles franchise in the first place. You know, I didn't see the 80s series, nor had I heard of the 90s movies.
Well, you heard of them, but you hadn't seen anything.
Right. So I grew up with the 2003 series that aired, and sometimes it aired on Nickelodeon, so they would watch it on there, and sometimes it aired on 4Kids. It depended on what channel. And I really liked the action. It had lots of great moments and comedic moments, but there was a really lot of action. It was a time when we had a ton of action cartoons on, and like with Samurai Jack and lots of other shows where you had a lot of variety.
Well, Samurai Jack was actually on before.
Yeah, a little before Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
but it was
90s.
airing. Yeah, it was airing a little at the same time. Like I said, it was when we had a whole mixture, and we had Generator Rex, and we had Ben 10 and stuff. All the channels had a variety of action.
So I think Samurai Jack was actually being shown in I don't want to say reruns, syndication.
Yes,
because that was on actually long before you were born. That was on like in the late 90s.
Yeah.
That I actually saw, and I owned it. They actually had it on DVD, and someone took it. But, so they had to be showing Samurai Jack in syndication.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And then it looked like they kept doing, once again, changing focus on the seasons. It looks like when it got to the 4th season, it became really dark, because I remember some scenes in there, I was like I used at the time, like I said, when they could get away with that, and there were no censorship for anything. Like one episode, Back to Stockman, when they show like sort of backstory when he was working with the Foot Clan, and each time he failed them, he would get hurt. But it went from getting hurt to like being like taken off, like put him in a wheelchair. He had a neck cast, and it was getting really messed up. And he put mutagen in himself so he could fix himself. And then he was hallucinating and losing his mind. He thought he was deteriorating, and he was losing his mind and stuff. It was like getting with some pretty messed up stuff as it got further in. And then it got to the last 2 seasons. Then it went from a whole flip. It flipped the switch, and then it became comedy. Because eventually...
Less violent, yeah.
Because eventually, they still got a lot of the violence or the action, depending on it. Then they had Ninja Tribunal. It was season 5, which I guess one's considered a lost season where there's some episodes that they couldn't
they started
find.
doing like Netflix. They had 26 episodes, 25.
Then 12, 14.
14.
Yeah, it's
wow.
Then the fast forward one, which was the trend at the time of them. When a lot of these shows liked being in the future, you had this, Batman Beyond in syndication, you had Voltron Force, where everything, for some reason, people were obsessed with the future, and every version of it sucked except Batman Beyond. Yes. And the fast forward one was irritating because all the whole focus was they were in the future. Then in the final season, they went back to their time, and it's like, yeah, how long were you gone again? And they even went through a change in their design. They have giant anime eyes now. They didn't look like the Ninja Turtles like you're seeing in the pictures. Right. They didn't have on like the white the eyeless masks, and they look like Ninja Turtles. They started looking more anime. They were more simplistic. They looked goofy. Their heads were smaller. They lost body mass. They looked like anime characters, and it freaked everybody out. And then they switched back. I don't know. Like, you shouldn't have done that in the first place.
I don't know. That looks alright. Is that what you just showed me?
No, no, that was the original. The new one, so they had giant eyes. Okay. They had small heads. They were skinnier. They looked like weird anime characters. No one looked like it was detail drawn or a comic or anything. They looked freaky.
So back to the sewer.
Yeah, and the final season was back to the sewer. Last episode of the season. And then they got the Turtles Forever movie, which I guess was supposed to be a big grand finale with all these different versions of the Turtles from the time it was created to this show. And in this one, they were back to New York, and then they had to battle in a cybernetic reality, and there was a cyber shredder. And it was like, okay, we're pushing, like, you really were pushing it with the cyber stuff. And so when at the time, if they were relying on technology and the future and stuff to push the whole show, that's when at the time you knew they were running out. Just like now, when you know when they're running out is when they do a musical episode in the middle of a non-musical show. That's like, okay, you're running out. That's the red flag. But yeah, and we covered the Turtles Forever movie. That was really fun. I didn't get to watch it at the time. I've wanted to see it for years. I never got to see it on TV, and nor did I get the DVD till way later. But still, growing with it was really fun. Lots of episodes to enjoy. Everything had its own balance, even when it had its ups and downs. There were a ton of characters. Both for the hero side and the villain side. They adapted from everything. The comics, the 80s ones, the 90s movies. They adapted from pretty much everything to do it. Because if you look on Wikipedia, you can see there's like a ton of characters from heroes and villains. And then one's from alternate realities, one from other planets, one from different parts of the world. And it's like, where'd you get all these people from?
Oh my gosh. So were there any, at that time, do you know if there were any stars that did voices, or
actually not this time? They were just, if they were, well, there was one named Wayne Grayson, which I think is pretty hilarious, but it looks like a lot of them just were like owned by the network, like they worked on Pokemon and stuff. They just worked for that company and were doing multiple voices for all their shows, so there really wasn't anybody that was like a standout for like major stars. They couldn't get any guest stars. They couldn't get the original people when they did the special, and they couldn't get new people. They had to make do with the characters. I mean, the people they had. But the most I could say, I think, would be Eric Stewart, who was James on Pokemon. He did a few voices.
And prepare for trouble and make it dumb.
Yeah, it had quite a bit. And they didn't have to censor a lot of the stuff because it wasn't an anime. They could get away with a lot of it. When they had anime on there, they had to keep censoring stuff that would look like too violent or too bloody or something, and they would cut it out and make it for kids, which kind of backfired because it took away a lot of story elements, because unfortunately some of the stuff like Deadpool relies on the violence for the story. So when you take that out, you took out stuff that probably shouldn't be in there, but you also took out a major part of it, so it ends up being confusing.
It ends up being something totally different than what it was meant to be.
So,
well, I'm so happy that you have a version of Turtles that you love, just like I do. And what would you say to someone who hasn't seen this particular version of the Turtles television animated series, I should say, what would be the best reason you would recommend that they watch it?
Okay. Just for all of the great storylines it had, and you can have the nostalgic feel of the time when we had a ton of action cartoons, whether they were reboots or original ideas, and the fact that they really put a lot of effort into every episode, even when they were starting to go wonky in some of their ideas and the characters. There was still a lot of effort put into it in honoring the original series and the movies. And it's just a blast to watch because I know a lot of people really enjoyed the 2012 Turtles. I never watched that, but I heard it was really good. It went on for a long time. They did pretty much everything you could think of for the Turtles, and it almost surpassed this one. I say almost because this one topped it.
Well, that's just another series for us to find and watch. Yes. So
and
if you have seen either the 2003 or the 2012 series, let us know in the comments below which is your favorite. And if, like Rascal, either one of these is your childhood,
right,
let us know what made it your generation's Turtle series.
Right. Plus, it was also a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
We had Saturday morning cartoons with Shaolin Showdown and many other shows.
Which no longer exists now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right.
But at least you can watch these episodes either when they're on YouTube with the official Turtles channel, or you can purchase the episodes through Amazon streaming, or you can buy the DVDs if they're available.
Now, I just have to say, I do love that you can have animation series 24 hours a day, whenever you want. But there is just something about having that experience where there's a show you love that comes on once a week,
right?
And it comes on the weekends when you're out of school, and you wake up at 6 and 6:30 in the morning to make sure you don't miss it, eating with your bowl of cereal, which Rascal and I did a couple of years ago. She said she kind of wanted to experience it, so we got all these shows that she wanted to see and had never seen, or things I had never seen as well that were older shows, and we would wake up on Sunday mornings instead of Saturday because of Shabbat, and we would get up, and for 3 hours we would watch nothing but these cartoons and pretend it was Saturday morning, which was fun.
Yes.
But yeah, that's something that kids now never get to experience, and it's a unique experience.
Uh-huh.
And I know that, that time has passed, but it's still a unique experience waiting to see your show that only comes on once a week, and you get to see it on your day off, when you don't have to, you don't have to get up early, you don't have to do any
chores,
no homework and things you have to do early in the morning, and you can spend your morning watching cartoons until either the football game comes on or something else you don't want to see.
Right.
And then that ends your Saturday morning. We would call it now a watch-a-thon, or
I guess
binge watch.
watch. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and we also got to mention, if you haven't seen the Turtles Forever movie, you should definitely see it. And just in case you haven't seen the entire ending of the series, and the Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. We have not seen it at the time of this recording, but trust me, when we see it, we definitely got to cover it, because it's one of the most epic crossovers you can think of.
Absolutely.
And I thought all this time a comic was fan art or fake. I didn't know it was actually real.
Right.
And I was like, where is it? I want it.
And watch our podcast on Turtles Forever.
Yes.
We did. And
quite a while ago,
quite a while ago, but you can just type it into the search box and it'll come right out. Or we also probably have attached a card, so you can click on it and listen to that as well.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching, and tune in tomorrow to see our next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Ta-da-pie. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later.